Hey there, BiggerPockets. This is Steve Rozenberg. I am so excited to be on this video and to be a part of BiggerPockets. For years, I've been a contributor on the forums, and I'm a firm believer in the movement and everything that BiggerPockets has done to help investors like me, like you, be educated. I've always been there commenting, trying to give good educational tips, tricks, and things that I've learned along the way. Recently, I was a guest with Brandon Turner and David Green on episode 343. And there we talked a lot about, policies, procedures, a lot of structure and things that are needed when you do buy an investment property, that it's not just buying the property. And it seemed like it got a lot of great reviews, a lot of good traction. A lot of people seemed to really like what I had to say. And, I took a little bit different tact when I got involved in investing. First of all, I never really wanted to be involved in investing. My background is I was an airline pilot, still am to this day, and flying for a major carrier as an airline pilot. And a day happened to me that I will never forget, and most people will never forget, and that was 9/11. And that took my safe, secure job, which is all that I ever wanted to do, and it basically turned my world upside down. And it made me realize that the safe, secure job that I thought I had on September 10th was most unsafe, unsecure job that I could possibly have on September 13th. Because on September 13th, I was given a furlough notice, basically told that you are no longer needed and we will let you know, and kind of thanks for playing and goodbye. And it's very humbling when you realize that, when you're focused on that. Many people watching this video probably have had that happen to them in their life. And I needed to learn about something. So I started learning about real estate. And I started realizing that true wealth is actually created. Many of it is through real estate, but most of it is because of control, being able to control your future, being able to control your destiny, which I realized at that point in my life, I was not in control. I had a job, I had a well-paying job, but at the same point, it was a job. And I realized that at the swipe of a pen, that job could be erased and I would be out on the street, not being able to support my family. So I really started learning about real estate, and I made it a passion to learn as much as I could. And I was very, very intrigued by it because I felt like I was behind the curve. And maybe some people have witnessed that themselves, where they realized that maybe they got into it later in life. Now, at the time, I was only 29, but to me, that was later in life. And so I realized that I needed to really run this as good as I could, as fast as I could. And the only way I could do that was by education. I started reading a book a week on real estate, and I really tried to make sure that I learned everything possible in this new realm called real estate. It did very well for me. I ended up learning how to wholesale properties, and from then I turned that into I don't want to call it a business. It was really a job, because wholesaling is when you basically have to find the seller of the property and then have to find the buyer of the property, put those two together, and you basically make the spread in between, is the very simple term of how you do it. But you need all parties to make this work, and it is a lot of work. And once it stops working, so does the money. And so while it was a very good paying extra job, because I already had a job as a pilot still, it was a job. And I really wanted to learn how to own real estate. I took all that money, I rolled that in, and bought an apartment complex. Went in with a business partner who to this day is still a business partner. We bought a 39 or 40, it was about a 39 unit complex in Houston, Texas. And what we realized is, this is doable. And we were very successful with it. We ended up exiting that property, and we had some extra money. And we decided to be as smart as we could be, which was really as dumb as we could be. And we started buying some properties that really didn't align with our business model, and it didn't align with our goals. What it was is they were low income, high cash flow properties. And we learned a lot of lessons from buying those properties, because of course we didn't just buy one. In about a year and a half, we bought about 20 of those. And we really got some school of hard knock lessons. And it really humbled us when we realized that we had made some vital errors purchasing those properties. We wanted properties that were passive. We wanted properties that were no problems, no headaches, no turnover. And this was the polar opposite of that. And it was very humbling, again, when you think that you're the smartest person and you get humbled very quickly. Life seems to have a way of doing that. And so in our ultimate wisdom, we figured the best way out of this was to buy another 15 or 20. So we bought about 35 of these properties, and we were knee deep in some serious hot water. And what we ended up doing from there is we ended up really trying to figure out how to get out of this mess. At the time, this was about 2011, nobody could get a loan, and nobody wanted to manage them. No management company was willing to take on our properties. So we ended up creating a management company for self-preservation. And we ran it like a business. It started stabilizing. They never actually made us a lot of money, but they stopped kind of really hurting us, and the stress went away. Anyone who's owned properties like that would know that those sleepless nights when tenants aren't paying the mortgage and you've got about 30 or 40 of these things and problem after problem, it can be very stressful. And that's one thing books don't talk about. They don't talk about the stress level and the home life of dealing with this and telling your wife that you made a mistake. And those are the things that I had to learn while I was still being an airline pilot. And we ended up starting a management company. Then we had actually other investors that we knew approach us because we actually started running it very much like a business. And we were very strict with our policies and our procedures and our structure, but we were still missing a very vital piece of this formula, and that was how to run a business. Neither my business partner or myself knew anything about running a business. And so we ended up going and finding a business coach. We hired a business coach, and that business coach took us to where we are today, which is a multi-million-dollar company. We manage over 1,000 properties. We probably bring in about $1.6 million a month in rent. And we are growing exponentially from very effective strategies from marketing and acquisition and negotiating and business model practices. And a lot of the things that we've learned is what I want to share with everyone. I've done a lot of videos. I've probably done over 300 videos of education, and it's just my way of giving back to investors so that they don't make the same mistakes that I have made. I speak on stages. I've been all over the world. I've been in Australia. I've been all over the United States speaking to property management companies on how to run a business, as well as to investors so that they understand that they are running a business. And I think that's the one missing piece of the puzzle. A lot of investors think that they'll figure out on the way. And the best terminology I can explain for that is it's like trying to build an airplane while you're in the air. It just doesn't work. You've got to take the time, you've got to plan, and you really want to sharpen that axe before you take that initial swing. So I really like giving back. As some of you know from the podcast show, my son, 14 years old, he bought his own rental property. And a lot of people ask me, how did he do it? How did he buy the rental property? One of the things I think you want to think about is not how did he do it, it's more why did he do it? Why did he think about coming to me and saying, Dad, I want to buy a rental property? What was his why? And I think a lot of people are so busy being tactical, they don't think about the strategy. And of course, I'm sure if anyone that has a child wishes that their child bought a property, but giving a child a property is not as effective and it's not going to be as successful as it is to actually have your son want to buy that property and want to do the due diligence and understand that. So we're going to talk about that. I'll have him on some videos as well. And we just want to show people that, look, just like everybody else, I still have a job as an airline pilot. I am still grinding it out. I own a property management company. These are all things that anyone can do if you understand that policies, procedures, and structure truly are the way that you're going to be successful. It's a matter of leverage, and use systems to leverage, and those are the ways that true people are able to scale a business. And I say it all the time, if you have one property, if you have 50, you own a business. And I want to make sure that people really understand that, and I'm going to do my best to show them from a lot of different perspectives of how they're running a business, how they need to take the emotions out of running that business, and how they need to think about things from a business perspective and not an emotional or ego standpoint. Because I can tell you all the mistakes I'm going to talk about I have personally made, and I'm going to do my best to help you avoid those mistakes by making sure you don't buy a property and put the wrong tenant in. Those are the things I think that is lacking in this industry. I think a lot of people, they talk about how to find the great deal and maybe how to flip the great deal. But if you want to create true wealth and passive income, it's how you keep that deal. And that's where it starts getting a little gray because, being a management company, I know what happens when a tenant says, hey, I lost my job, but I'm not going to pay rent and I'm not going to leave. What do you do then? Right? What do you do when the roof is caving in on a property in the middle of a rainstorm? What are the rights of the tenants and what are your obligations as a landlord? What is fair housing? What is property code? What is Fair Credit Reporting Act? These are all things that govern you as a landlord that you want to make sure. We all know that it can be very successful being an investor, but we don't know exactly how to do that. So again, these are the things that I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to work, and I'm going to do a lot of videos to try to educate everyone to make sure that you are running a business with policies, procedures, structure. We're going to talk about KPIs, key performance indicators, and we're going to really talk about how to make sure that you can run your investment rental business as a business. So this is Steve Rozenberg. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to talking to everyone and meeting everyone and doing a lot more BiggerPockets videos. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.